My name's John Delaney. I live in Bryan, Texas. I'm a retired state district court judge.
And I'm Russ Jones. I'm also from Texas. I'm in the Hill Country out near Austin and San Antonio. I was a police officer in San Jose, narcotics detective, DEA task force agent. I worked intelligence for our government in Nicaragua during the Iran-Contra affair.
In 1983, my mother was murdered in my family home in Houston by a young man, 21 years old, who had come down from Michigan as a result of the latest economic crisis there, and was out of work. And I think he was out of work because he was not so very long before that convicted of marijuana possession. And being out of work, he didn't have a car, and walking down the street, he saw her car, and he went to the door and gained entrance and demanded her car keys, he later said in his confession, and she wouldn't give the car keys. So that resulted in a struggle that caused her death. And 13 years later, the state of Texas executed that fellow, but it cost me a mother. And my children grew up without a grandmother. So the war on drugs has touched me in ways that are very personal. And so I've made the dedication that I'm going to do what I can to raise another voice from the law enforcement community about the need to go about all this in a very different way.
You know, when we arrested a drug dealer, all we were doing was creating an immediate job opening for another drug dealer because there was so much money involved. There was no reduction in crime. The war on drugs was not reducing crime. It wasn't reducing drug use. It surely wasn't reducing death and illness and disease. And the use of drugs kept going up. So by the time I left DEA, I was pretty discouraged with what the nation was doing to itself with the war on drugs. I don't think, though, I think I was able to pull it all together after my trip to the Soviet Union, and it was still the Iron Curtain. It was still the Soviet Union. And I had worked over there with their law enforcement officers. I had worked on the streets with their narcotics detectives. We seized a methamphetamine lab. I saw drug dealing on the streets. I went to their rehabilitation programs and talked to recovering addicts. And I came home and the question kept running through my mind, if the Soviet Union, still behind the Iron Curtain, as controlling of its citizens as it was unable to control drugs through prohibition, then how were we, a free people, ever going to? I came to the conclusion we can't. This is not a problem we're going to wrest our way out of. This is the bottom line. This is a health problem, not a law enforcement problem, and we need to be dealing with this as a health issue.
It bothers me a lot that I have signed several hundred search warrants over my career as a trial court judge. Many times in the middle of the night I would sit at the kitchen table with law enforcement and go over the warrant and sign off on it. And I've now seen police videos of what happens, at least in some of today's searches. And I shudder to think that maybe some of my conduct was a contributing factor there. I'm a child protection court judge today, and I cannot imagine the trauma that afflicts a 7-year-old boy when he sees his pet dog assassinated by police who are here to serve and protect, right? And then they throw his father on the floor and kick him and yell at him and humiliate him, and over what? A baggie of marijuana somewhere in the parents' bedroom? Now he's going to lose his job, going to lose his driver's license. No, got to be a better way.
Hi, Mr. Jones. I'm Alana Brooks. I am Miss May from the Pinup.
What would be the practical steps necessary to end the war on drugs? And how does a civilian take part in this process? Thank you.
Michaela, thank you for this question, because the war on drugs, by all measurable standards, is a dismal failure.